Here comes Hewy, gonna give you the news. Time to watch his animated movie reviews, whether hand-drawn, CGI, puppets or clay. If you've got a good story, you'll be making his day. See you at the movies, cartoon movies. See you at the movies, hold on to. See you at the movies, like nobody's business. Hey, see you at the movies, animated movies that is.
Hey everyone, I'm Hewy Toonmore. Welcome to Hewy's Anime Movie Reviews, the show where I review anime films from older reason, whether they be hand-drawn, stop-motion, or computer-generated. You know, Saturday mornings just aren't what they used to be back when I was a kid.
Back then, Saturday mornings were an event, something we looked forward to all week when school wouldn't waste our entire day. I can still remember getting up early, running to the TV, and tuning into ABC, Fox Kids, Nickelodeon, or Cartoon Network, depending on whose house I was staying at that week, as my parents were divorced, and catching the newest episodes of some of my all-time favorite cartoon shows like Reboot, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Batman, Sonic SatAM, and many others.
On a cable channel like Cartoon Network, the cartoons would last all day. But only my dad had cable, and I visited him every other weekend. And my mom's, we had the regular TV channels, and they'd stop airing their cartoons at around 11 a.m. or noon. Sounds like a real bummer, huh? Well, not necessarily. With some networks like ABC, they would end their Saturday morning lineup with something very special.
I am, of course, speaking of ABC Weekend Special, an anthology series for children to watch on Saturday mornings, which aired from 1977 to 1997, with each episode being a self-contained special, typically based on the children's novels of the time, made by various studios and animation companies like Hanna-Barbera and Ruby Spears. The Mouse and the Motorcycle, Bunnicula the Vampire Rabbit, and Jirimbira, an African folktale, are just a few of the works adapted for television.
And the one I'll be taking a look at today is one I remember fondly from my childhood.
The Bollo Caper, a fable for children of all ages, written by Art Buchwald in 1974, tells the story of a golden leopard named Bollo who, after being captured by poachers, embarks on a desperate journey to avoid being made into a fur coat by going to Washington, D.C. to get his species onto the endangered species list, as his species is mistakenly considered to be already extinct. The story would be adapted by animator Rick Reinhardt and his now defunct company Rick Reinhardt Productions, which had previously done animations for TV ads, Saturday morning bumpers, and even the original intro for ABC Weekend Special. He even worked with the Walt Disney Company producing the educational featurette Foods and Fun, a nutrition adventure in 1981, and two Winnie the Pooh featurettes, Winnie the Pooh Discovers the Seasons in 1981, and Winnie the Pooh in a Day for Eeyore in 1983. But probably his most famous work is the character of O.G. Readmore, a charismatic alley cat who encouraged children to read the classics, but we'll talk more about him another time.
Now, having not read the original story this special is adapted from, I'll be reviewing it on its own merits with no comparisons. So, with that said, let's begin. Airing as the third episode of the 8th season, as well as the overall 78th season of the series on February 2nd, 1985, the special is The Bollo Caper.
Our story opens in the jungle of the fictional Central African nation of Machunga, as the titular Bollo returns from a patrol of his territory with a flower to present to his mate Nefertiti. Bollo is voiced by Michael Bell, best remembered for voicing both Chaz Finster and Drew Pickles on Nickelodeon's Rugrats. In contrast, Nefertiti is voiced by Eileen Latter, who had previously done voices for Marvel's Spider-Woman cartoon from 1978 and the English dub of Captain of Cosmos in 1983.
I've searched all over. As far as I can tell, we're the only golden leopards left.
Where did they all go?
I don't know. They just kept disappearing one by one. Hunters and trappers, I guess.
Then we'll have to stick closer together.
Sure we will. I love the jungle. I'll never leave it. I'll never leave you.
Now that's just asking for something to happen to take you out of the jungle, Bollo. But hey, then we wouldn't have a story, right?
We then cut to the New York City workshop of Felix, a maker and seller of high-end furs. He's interrupted in his latest work by a secretary who alerts him to a call from his biggest client, Movie star Lulu LaLoosh.
Oh, that woman. She drives me absolutely up the wall. Lulu, sweetheart, Poopsie, what a wonderful surprise to hear from you. You've made my day.
By the way, if Felix's voice sounds familiar, that's because he's voiced by the late Pete Renaday, best known for voicing both Master Splinter and Vernon Fenwick in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. Anyway, Lulu, also voiced by Eileen Latter, tells Felix that she doesn't have a fur coat to wear for the upcoming Movie Awards, even though she already has several fur pieces in her ensemble, but people have already seen her in those.
I want something fantastic. Something that will make Hollywood flip when they see me in it.
Something fantastic?
And Felix, money is no object.
Oh, there's the answer to the $64 question.
Felix assures Lulu he will design her a coat to end all fur coats, and quickly has his secretary get him in touch with the Carstairs brothers, a less than reputable pair of hunters in Africa. There's Snag, voiced by Hal Smith, a veteran of many voice acting roles, but probably best remembered as the voice of Owl from the original Disney Winnie the Pooh shorts, and his younger brother Clamper, voiced by Will Ryan, who also has his fair share of voice roles, but I know him best as the voice of Petrie from Don Bluth's The Land Before Time. Anyway, when Felix informs Snag that he needs a subject for a new fur coat, Snag tells him about Bollo, stating that the golden leopard supposedly has a coat unlike any other.
Is he on the endangered species list?
That's our loophole. Bollo is supposedly extinct, so he's never even been on the list. Yeah, that makes him fair game.
Tell him it'll cost $15,000 to put an expedition together to find him.
Money is no object. I want that leopard, and I want him alive. I'll make this coat from scratch.
Meanwhile, Bollo and Nefertiti figure out what they'd like to do today when Bollo's sharp ears pick up strange and unfamiliar noises coming from the jungle. Obviously, the Carstairs brothers looking for him. Telling Nefertiti to stay hidden in the trees, he goes to lead them away, only to fall into a pitfall trap that the pair had already dug beforehand. Before Bollo can make any attempt at escape, he is drugged by a tranquilizer dart and loses consciousness.
He's seen his last jungle.
This, of course, is when they would cut to a commercial break. Now, the version I'm reviewing is from a VHS release that was posted online, but there is another version someone else posted that was recorded off its original 1985 air date, which includes these classic commercial bumpers that you might remember from a certain other internet reviewers' commercial specials.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Ah, that's the stuff.
When Bollo regains consciousness, he finds himself locked in a cage inside.
It's a pressurized cargo jet used for illegally smuggling wild animals away from their homes and into other countries.
Yeah, what he said.
Make your ears pop. I love it!
By the way, the chimps here are also voiced by Will Ryan and Pete Renaday. They tell Bollo that they're en route to New York City, where he will unfortunately be made into a fur coat to be worn by Lulu LaLoosh.
No one is gonna make me into a fur coat for some movie star. I've never even seen one of her pictures.
Well, that's convenient. Professional poachers forget to lock a cage holding a fully grown big cat that's known to attack humans regularly.
After landing in an abandoned airport, Snag and Clamper prepare to show Felix, who has brought Lulu to inspect what she is paying for, their catch, only to discover that Bollo has gotten loose. Thankfully, everyone is distracted by a lone photographer taking pictures of Lulu, who naturally poses even while asking him not to take pictures, thus allowing Bollo to make his escape.
Don't let him get away now.
Jeez, Lulu, your agent's gonna have a doozy of a time coming up with an alibi for why you were seen taking part in an illegal animal trade.
Bollo leads the Carstairs brothers on a chase through the half-rotten airfield, finally tricking them into falling through a collapsed floor into a basement.
We fell for our own trick, you dummy! That's one smart cat.
Bollo manages to give his pursuers the slip and hitches a ride on top of a taxi cab into New York City.
Anyone with information on Bollo should notify the police or contact the Carstairs brothers. Bollo is considered armed and dangerous.
Armed and dangerous? Me? I'm just a pussycat.
A 500-pound pussycat with claws that can peel a man's skin like an orange and fangs anchored in jaws capable of breaking bones, but I digress.
Upon reaching the Big Apple, Bollo manages to make his way to Central Park. Hey, wait a minute.
can we back up for a second? I just noticed something.
When Bollo hopped the cab, it looked like the sun was coming up, but when he reaches the city, it's suddenly nighttime again? It couldn't have been that long a drive, as according to the sign Bollo was hiding behind, New York was only 14 miles away from the airport.
I'm sorry, but production inconsistencies are a pet peeve of mine, among other things.
After hearing animal sounds that remind him of home, Bollo makes his way to the Central Park Zoo and has a conversation with a pair of lions, also voiced by Hal Smith and Eileen Latter, who have apparently heard of him and his escapades.
Ever since you escaped, they've double-locked our cages.
Oh, I'm really sorry about that. I had hoped you could give me some advice. I'm in a lot of trouble.
Aren't you on the endangered species list?
What's that?
Well, that's when you and your species are disappearing from the face of the earth. It makes it against the law to hurt you.
Bollo asks how to get on the list, and the lions point him to the zoo's resident polar bear, Iceberg, who, as it turns out, has a history with Felix.
He helped turn the North Pole into a lonely place. It used to be jumping up there until he helped make sealskins and polar bear rugs fashionable.
And yes, Iceberg here is also voiced by Hal Smith. He explains to Bollo that to get on the endangered species list, he will need the help of Congress.
What's a Congress?
Oh, a bunch of men and women in Washington who sit around passing laws. It takes time. You could be extinct by the time they do anything.
Now there's a statement that's aged like wine. Damn, that's depressing.
Iceberg tells Bollo to head to Penn Station and take a train to get to Washington, wishing him luck. However, upon leaving the zoo, Bollo is spotted by a police helicopter and another chase begins, ending with Bollo surrounded by squad cars, a mounted officer on a horse, and, of course, the Carstairs brothers along with Felix and Lulu.
He's not gonna run away from us anymore. Isn't that right, Bollo, old boy?
That never gets old.
Just as it seems all hope is lost, the mounted officer's horse speaks up, telling Bollo of an escape route he can use to get to Penn Station without being followed.
Okay, let's go, team. 24, 68, hop, hop, hop!
And there's the snap. Bollo's up the middle. Snag comes to intercept, but oh, he's blocked by the defensive line. Bollo makes it for the wall, and it's good!
You clumsy fools have let him get away again! Get in this car. We'll track him no matter where he goes. I must have that coat!
Are we sure her last name isn't DeVille?
Meanwhile, Bollo successfully hops a circus train headed towards Washington. Sneaking into one of the boxcars to keep warm, he makes the acquaintance of a friendly Asian elephant named Eleanor.
Yeah, she's voiced by Eileen Latter too. Look, from here on out, just expect every other character to be voiced by her, Will Ryan, Hal Smith, or Pete Renedy, okay?
Well, I was told Congress could help me get on the endangered species list. That seems to be my only chance to escape being made into a fur coat.
Well, you certainly asked the right gal. Politics are actually sort of a sideline of mine.
Yeah, we get it.
Eleanor explains that the reason Bollo isn't on the endangered species list is because everybody thinks golden leopards are already extinct. Therefore, all Bollo technically has to do to get on the list is to show people that he is alive. So he asks Eleanor to help write a letter begging Congress to put him and Nefertiti on the list, and Eleanor happily obliges.
Hey, if people can teach elephants how to paint, then one knowing how to write isn't stretching belief too badly.
Here you are, Bollo. Your message to Congress, and maybe it'll help keep you warm, too.
Thanks, Eleanor. I feel better and safer already.
Unfortunately for Bollo, Felix, Lulu, and the Carstairs brothers somehow managed to discover which train he jumped and have been in hot pursuit, though there's been a brief stroke of good fortune in the fact that Lulu's town car is broken down. Meanwhile, Bollo's train arrives at Washington as Eleanor tells him to head for the Big Dome, aka the Capitol building, and wishes him luck. Soon, Bollo arrives at the steps of Capitol Hill,
where he'll probably have to share a seat with this one other guy there.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill.
Psyching himself up, Bollo manages to slip past probably the worst security guard ever, as for some reason he has his eyes closed, and makes his way directly to the Senate floor. only to find it's still too early for anyone to be here. So Bollo slips into a contented sleep underneath the chairman's desk, only to awaken some hours later by the sounds of Congress in session. Let's take a listen.
My bill, if passed, will take the water from behind the dam and put it in front of the dam.
Your tax dollars at work, fellow Americans.
Bollo sees his chance to present his letter to the vice president, but...
Honestly, I can't blame him.
And so Bollo is once again on a madcap chase, this time avoiding his pursuers all the way to, you guessed it folks, the White House. He climbs out on the limb of a tree as Clamper climbs up after him with net in hand. At the same time, a press conference is being held below on the White House South Lawn, where the president...
I'm one of those generic presidents they use on TV to keep shows from becoming dated.
...is greeting the visiting emperor of Machunga, Bollo's home country, who presents the president with a sculpted bust as a gift.
Thank you, Your Highness. It's beautiful.
Pretty small press conference, isn't it? No news camera crews, no blinding flashbulbs going off. And what's with this perspective shot? They all look like ants from back here. Anyway, just as the president prepares to present America's gift to the emperor, Bollo drops in.
Oh hell, here we go again.
But this is wonderful, perfect. This is a miracle. The golden leopard is supposed to be extinct.
Oh, that's a surprise.
This is the greatest gift.
Oh, there's security.
The president then spies Bollo's message and reads it, apparently not caring that the message is from an animal, and promises to correct their oversight.
We'll check with the Department of the Interior. We have these laws to protect endangered species, and we'll do all we can to uphold those laws.
You know, this is why I like fictional presidents sometimes. They're usually shown in a positive light and actually help out the main characters. Certainly wish we had a president like that right now.
And the emperor promises to build a protected wildlife sanctuary in Machunga where Bollo and Nefertiti will be safe forever. The president then turns his attention to our villains, deciding to give them a very fitting punishment.
Felix, I'm putting you in charge of a special committee to prevent the illegal importation of furs. And you, Lulu, will be on that committee. Your job will be to discourage people from buying illegal furs.
Now, I know what you're thinking. After what they tried to do to Bollo, they get off that easily?
Well, any other form of legal action could be very costly, and with the kind of lawyers Lulu can probably afford, could keep the courts tied up for years. This way, they can keep an eye on them and make sure they can't try again, and all the while Felix and Lulu can save a little face. As for the Carstairs brothers, they're forced to work as groundskeepers in the new wildlife sanctuary in Machunga, where Bollo is happily reunited with Nefertiti, and the pair now have an adorable pair of cubs, ensuring that the golden leopards will hopefully make a full recovery from the brink of extinction.
Oh, here comes the Emperor. Do I look all right?
Oh, you look fantastic.
So that was the Bollo Caper. And now for my final thoughts.
Overall, this is a pretty good animated TV special. It was fun, exciting, and did its best to explain a very complicated system in a way its target audience could understand. Rick Reinhardt's animation is also pretty decent for the time, looking almost like a mix between Disney and Chuck Jones. The characters are all likable, including the villains, and the voice acting is top-notch, but what else can I expect from a cast composed of some of the all-time greats in the industry? Nowadays, people might groan or cringe at anything with an environmental message, but personally, I believe it's necessary, especially in our current cynical climate, that we embrace a message of hope for the future, no matter how heavy-handed they might seem. I give this special a rating of 3.5 stars out of 5.
Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me again for my next review. And if you want me to review any more ABC Weekend specials, please let me know. See the movies. Anime movies, that is.
Confrontation.